If you clicked on this video, you've probably seen countless headlines about Trump's tariff plans, some warning of economic disaster, and others claiming that these tariffs can bring back jobs and save America from its $36 trillion debt. In this video, I'll break down what tariffs are, how they work, who pays for them, and also what their economic impact is. I'll also share some moments in US history where tariffs have driven economic growth and where they have backfired, giving you the knowledge to form your own conclusions. A tariff is a tax on imported goods that the government places on products coming in from other countries. Tariffs can be imposed in one of two ways: as a percentage of a product's value or as a fixed dollar amount per unit of a product being imported. One example of a percentage-based tariff is the 25% tariff that the US imposes on light trucks. It was introduced by the US in 1964 as retaliation to France and West Germany for taxing US chicken exports. This tariff remains in effect today, leading manufacturers like Toyota and Nissan to build their pickup trucks here in the US to avoid the import tax. On the other hand, fixed dollar tariffs apply a set fee per unit of a product. An example is the US-specific tariff on imported unmanufactured tobacco, which imposes $1.10 per kilogram of unstemmed tobacco and 67 cents per kilogram of stemmed tobacco. The purpose of tariffs include generating revenue, protecting domestic industries, and serving as a tool for negotiation and retaliation in trade disputes and broader political agreements. Revenue generation has historically been one of the primary functions of tariffs, particularly before the establishment of the modern income tax system. Protection of domestic industries is another key reason for imposing tariffs, as they increase the cost of imported goods, making domestic products more competitive. This helps protect emerging or vital industries from foreign competition, allowing them to grow, strengthen their market positions, and maintain employment levels within the country. Political leverage and retaliation are also important aspects of tariff policies, as governments use them as tools for trade negotiations and as economic retaliation. Imposing tariffs can serve as a means to pressure trading partners into amending policies or practices deemed unfair, helping to enforce trade agreements or counteract economic imbalances. So, who actually pays for tariffs? While tariffs are imposed on foreign goods, it's the US importers and retailers that pay this tax. For example, if Target imports a product that costs $10 and it is subject to a 20% tariff, they would have to pay the additional $2 to US Customs. This would raise the total cost of the item to $12 before it reaches store shelves. To cover this added cost, Target would have to raise the retail price accordingly, meaning that US shoppers would ultimately be paying the difference. Higher prices is a negative aspect of tariffs that all US consumers have to deal with. But this price difference can also have other positive and negative effects on the US population and the economy. Some positive effects of tariffs include the protection and growth of domestic industries, job creation and economic growth, an increase in government revenue, and leverage in trade negotiations. Some negative effects include higher costs for US businesses that rely on imports, market distortions and reduced competition, and retaliatory tariffs and trade wars. Tariffs can create a price advantage for American manufacturers by making imported goods more expensive. This discourages the reliance on foreign suppliers and encourages the growth of domestic businesses. For example, US steel tariffs protect American steelmakers from cheaper imports, ensuring their continued operation and reducing dependence on foreign steel. While tariffs protect certain industries, such as the steel industry, they also increase the costs for businesses that rely on imported materials. For instance, US manufacturers that relied on foreign steel faced higher production costs after the 2018 steel tariffs, affecting industries like construction, automobile manufacturing, and appliance production. By shielding US industries from foreign competition, tariffs can help maintain and create jobs within the country. The US auto industry, for instance, benefits from tariffs on foreign-built vehicles, which encourages automakers to manufacture cars within the United States rather than overseas. The downside of shielding US industries from foreign competition is that it can lead to inefficiencies, as companies may have less incentive to innovate or improve product quality. This can result in stagnation in certain industries. The US frequently uses tariffs as bargaining tools in trade agreements. By imposing tariffs on foreign goods, the government can pressure other nations into removing their trade barriers or agree to more favorable trade terms. However, other countries can respond to US tariffs with their own, targeting American exports and causing financial strain for US industries. Another positive aspect of tariffs is that they can serve as a tool to collect revenue, which can be used to pay down debt or fund government operations. While tariffs are no longer a primary source of revenue, they still contribute billions of dollars annually to the US Treasury. Now that we've covered what tariffs are, let's look at some moments in history when they were used and what the outcomes that they produced were. We'll start with the Dingley Tariff Act of 1897, introduced by the Representative Nelson Dingley Jr. of Maine and signed into law by President William McKinley, the 25th President of the United States. President Donald Trump has frequently cited McKinley as a model for using tariffs to strengthen the US economy, arguing that they can replace income taxes, eliminate national debt, protect American jobs, reduce reliance on foreign manufacturing, and address trade imbalances. Sounds like a one-stop solution for all of America's problems. Let's review why Trump believes this. In 1897, McKinley signed the Dingley Tariff Act, raising import duties to an average of 49% on key products like wool, sugar, and steel. At the time, the country was recovering from the Panic of 1893, a severe economic depression caused by railroad collapses, bank failures, and a stock market crash. Despite this downturn, the Dingley Tariff helped revive US industries, increased federal revenue, and even led to a budget surplus. It also expanded steel production, textile manufacturing, and agriculture, reinforcing national self-sufficiency and positioning the US as a rising industrial power. One key difference between now and then is that in 1897, the US government was significantly smaller than it is today, and the economic landscape was vastly different. Critics of Trump's tariff policies argue that what worked under McKinley wouldn't yield the same results today, as the modern economy is more globalized, service-based, and reliant on complex supply chains. Critics warn that high tariffs can lead to a trade war, leading to retaliatory tariffs, rising costs for businesses and consumers, and disrupted supply chains. This could reduce exports, slow down investment, and also increase job losses, potentially triggering an economic downturn as seen with the Smoot-Hawley Tariff of 1930. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930 is one of the most infamous examples of tariffs backfiring. Initially, it was designed to protect American farmers during the Great Depression. The law raised tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods, but instead of boosting the US economy, it led to global retaliation. And over 30 countries imposed their own tariffs on American exports. This caused US exports to plummet, further isolating the US from global trade. As a result, the Great Depression worsened, with businesses losing access to foreign markets and unemployment soaring. Industries that relied on exports such as agriculture and manufacturing were hit particularly hard. The Dingley Tariff and the Smoot-Hawley Tariff were both protectionist policies, but their timing, economic impact, and global consequences differed significantly. The Dingley Tariff was introduced after the Panic of 1893, during a period of economic recovery for the US, and at a time when most foreign economies were stable. While it significantly increased tariffs, few countries retaliated, and global trade remained unshaken. In contrast, the Smoot-Hawley Tariff was enacted during the Great Depression, when both the US and global economies were actively dealing with the crisis. Instead of providing relief, it triggered a global trade war, leading over 30 countries to impose retaliatory tariffs, reducing US exports and deepening the economic collapse. Now let's look at more current examples of tariffs. In 2018, President Donald Trump imposed tariffs on over $300 billion worth of Chinese goods, aiming to protect American industries and reduce the trade deficit. This strategy included a 25% tariff on imported steel and a 10% tariff on aluminum, justified as a measure to revive US manufacturing and reduce dependence on foreign metals. In response, China implemented retaliatory tariffs, targeting US agricultural products such as soybeans, corn, and pork, significantly impacting American farmers. To mitigate these losses, the US government implemented substantial subsidies to the agricultural sector. The effects of tariffs during Trump's first term were mixed. Some American manufacturers benefited from reduced foreign competition, while others faced increased production costs due to higher prices on imported materials. The trade war disrupted global supply chains, contributing to rising costs for both manufacturers and consumers. While certain industries experienced job growth, others encountered economic challenges, highlighting the complex outcomes of protectionist trade policies. When President Joe Biden took office in 2021, many expected him to roll back Trump's tariffs on China, but he largely kept them in place. Instead of reversing Trump's policies, Biden adjusted some of them, focusing on tariffs aligned with his administration's priorities. He introduced new tariffs on Chinese solar panels and green energy components, and imposed tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles to shield American auto workers and boost domestic EV production. He also modified Trump's steel tariffs, keeping many in place, but allowing some tariff-free imports under quota systems to prevent supply shortages. In May 2024, Joe Biden announced a significant increase in tariffs on electric vehicles coming from China, raising them from 25% to 100%. Without federal or state incentives, American-made electric cars like the Ford Mach-E start at approximately $40,000, and the Tesla Model Y begins at around $45,000. In contrast, a similar Chinese manufactured vehicle like the BYD Auto 3 is priced at around 120 yuan in China, equating to about $17,000 US. If Chinese electric vehicles entered the US market without any tariffs, consumers could access electric vehicles at a significant lower price. However, this would challenge US manufactured cars, leading to a fast decline in US production plants and triggering job losses. As you have seen, Trump continues to double down on tariffs, arguing that they will boost US manufacturing and reduce the trade deficit. Supporters believe that these tariffs could revitalize the US economy, much like McKinley's policies did. But critics warn that they could risk global retaliation and higher consumer prices, potentially worsening the economy. As tariffs remain a divisive economic policy, their long-term impact on US trade and industry remains uncertain. There are many other examples of tariffs with different outcomes, and there are many nuances when it comes to predicting the future effects of these policies. So please feel free to share your thoughts and arguments for or against tariffs in the comment section below. My goal for this video was to provide as much information as I could without making the video too long and without influencing opinions in any direction. If you appreciate the effort that I put into this video, please like it and share it with anyone who might benefit from learning a little more about tariffs. Also subscribe if you would like to see similar content in the future. Thanks for watching and have a good day.